Joe Karen told me to move my trashy car. It's a patrol vehicle for off-duty security. Part 1. The day I rolled into Pine Hollow, I knew I wasn't going to fit in. My '02 Dodge Durango, ex-police cruiser, black and white paint chipped to hell, spotlight still bolted to the side, growled down the cul-de-sac like a junkyard dog crashing a tea party. I'd just signed the papers on 32 Oak Ridge Drive, a squat ranch house with a leaky roof and a garage too small for my rig, and I was hauling my life in the back. A duffel of clothes, a box of tools, my old duty boots, and a coffee maker that had survived more stakeouts than I had. Me, Sam Torres, 42, ex-cop, current off-duty security grunt, didn't belong in a place like this, but the rent was cheap, the gig was steady, and I was tired of apartment life. Pine Hollow was a postcard nightmare. Manicured lawns, identical beige siding, driveways so clean you could eat off them. Every house had a mailbox with a little flag, every shrub was trimmed into submission, and the air smelled like fresh mulch and quiet desperation. I'd moved here for the peace, ironic given my line of work, but the Durango's rattling exhaust and dented fender screamed trouble in a neighborhood built for minivans and Teslas. I parked in the driveway, killed the engine, and stepped out, stretching my back in a faded black tee and jeans. The sun was dipping low, casting long shadows, and I figured I'd unload before dark. That's when I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. Sharp little footsteps, like a bird pecking pavement. I turned and there she was. Karen Baxter, HOA president, suburban dictator, and a walking cartoon villain in a peach cardigan. She wasn't tall, maybe 5'3" in those sensible flats, but she carried herself like she'd invented the cul-de-sac. Her perm was a helmet of tight curls, her face a mask of foundation and fury, and her eyes were narrowed behind cat eyeglasses. She clutched a clipboard, thick, laminated, a pen dangling from a chain, and marched up like she owned my soul. "You the new renter?" she said, voice high and clipped, like a teacher scolding a kid for chewing gum. "Yep," I said, leaning on the Durango. "Sam Torres, nice to meet you." She didn't smile, didn't even blink. "Karen Baxter, Pine Hollow HOA president. I assume you've read the covenants." I scratched my jaw, sizing her up. "Skimmed them. Got the gist. Keep it neat, no loud parties. You handing out welcome baskets now?" Her lips twitched, but not into anything friendly. "This isn't a joke, Mr. Torres. That—" She jabbed her pen at the Durango, nose wrinkling like it smelled worse than it looked. "Is a violation. Section 5.4. Vehicles must be garaged or aesthetically compliant. That thing is neither." I glanced at the rig. Scratch paint, a dented door from a bar fight I'd broken up last year, security stenciled in peeling letters on the side. "She's a workhorse," I said, patting the hood. "Gets me through gigs. Ain't pretty, but she's legal." "Legal?" she snorted, scribbling on her clipboard. "It's trashy. Move it to the garage by tomorrow or you'll be fined. Welcome to Pine Hollow." She spun and tapped off, leaving me staring after her, half amused, half annoyed. "Great," I muttered, grabbing a box. "Neighborhood cops already on my ass." So we were turning. Pine Hollow didn't play when it came to rules. I figured that out quick. Day 2, I met Reggie Dunn, my next-door neighbor, a wiry 60-something ex-mechanic with a buzz cut in a garage full of car parts. He ambled over while I was hosing mud off the Durango's tires, a Coke in his hand and a grin on his face. "You met the warden yet?" he asked, nodding toward Karen's house. A beige box with shutters so perfect they looked painted on. "Oh yeah," I said, spraying a hubcap. "She's got a hard-on for my rig." Gave me the HOA 101 lecture. Reggie laughed, raspy and deep. "That's Karen. Runs this place like a prison yard. Last year she fined me because my oil can set out 10 minutes too long." 10 minutes? "Sounds like a riot," I said. "How do you survive?" "Fix her Prius when it conks out," he said, winking. "Keeps me off her hit list. You, though, that car's going to be her white whale." I liked Reggie right away. He'd lived here since He'd bought his place with his pension, stayed because he liked tinkering in peace. Over the next week, he spilled the tea. Mrs. Ellis across the street, a widow who knitted and snitched to Karen about every stray leaf. The Wilsons 2 doors down. Tech bros who got a citation for a too bright porch light. And Karen's posse, 3 women with bobs and a shared obsession with bylaws. Karen was infamous. Widowed, no kids, part-time real estate gig, full-time HOA tyrant. She'd measured a neighbor's grass at dawn to fine him for an extra quarter-inch, shut down a kid's bike ramp for structural non-compliance. When a cat scratched her hydrangeas, she billed the owner for vandalism. Reggie swore she had a binder, color-coded, every house tracked, every fine logged. "She's got you in the crosshairs now," he said over beers in his garage. "That car's her kryptonite." "Sounds like fun," I said, clinking my bottle. "I've dealt with worse. I wasn't here to fight. I'd left the force 5 years back. Burnout, bad knee, and picked up security gigs, warehouses, concerts, the odd rich guy's party. The Durango was my lifeline. Retired cruiser I'd bought cheap, kitted out with lights and decals. It wasn't pretty, but it worked, and Pine Hollow's quiet was perfect for crashing between shifts. I figured I'd keep my head down, dodge Karen's wrath, maybe fix the roof. Easy, right? Wrong. Day 3, a neon yellow notice hit my door. Violation, non-compliant vehicle. $50 fine. Day 4, another. Violation, visible maintenance. $25 fine. I'd changed a tire in the driveway. Day 5, she caught me polishing the spotlight. "That's an unapproved modification," she barked, popping from behind a bush like a jack-in-the-box. "It's a work vehicle," I said, rag in hand. "Security, not a damn spaceship." "Unapproved," she snapped his scribbling. "Garage it or it's gone." She stomped off and I laughed. First mistake. Iwasewernum. I wasn't sweating it. Yet. The Durango was my gig rig, parked out front because the garage was a joke. Full of boxes and too narrow for anything wider than a Prius. I'd been running patrols for a warehouse downtown, off-duty cop stuff, and the cruiser's lights and heft made it legit. Pine Hollow could suck it up. That's when Charlie came in. Charlie Kim, 30s, lived 3 houses down, a freelance coder who'd seen my rig on a gig. He stopped by one morning, coffee in hand. "That's a beast," he said, eyeing the Durango. "Security?" "Yeah," I said, hauling trash bags. "Off-duty patrol. Keeps the paychecks coming." "Cool," he said. "Karen's gonna hate it. She freaked when I parked my scooter wrong once." "Already on it," I said. "She's got a binder and a grudge." Charlie grinned. "You're screwed, man. But I've got your back. Tech guy, surveillance shit. Let me know." "Deal," I said. Allies were good. Reggie for muscle, Charlie for brains. I'd need him because Karen was just warming up. By week's end, I had 3 citations, a $150 tab, and a hunch she was staking me out. Reggie swore he'd seen her with binoculars at dusk. Mrs. Ellis's cat avoided my yard like it was cursed. Even the Wilsons whispered, "Watch out," over the fence. Pine Hollow wasn't a neighborhood. It was Karen's turf, and I'd just rolled in with a target on my hood. Part 2. Week 2 in Pine Hollow, and I was starting to feel like I'd moved into a prison yard with a warden who'd traded her baton for a clipboard. My Durango sat in the driveway at 32 Oak Ridge Drive, chipped paint and all, a big middle finger to Karen Baxter's pristine utopia. I'd racked up $150 in fines already. Non-compliant vehicle, visible maintenance, some bullshit about excessive glare from the spotlight, and she wasn't slowing down. Every morning I'd find a new neon yellow citation taped to my door, her spiky handwriting spelling out my sins. I'd crumple them, toss them in a coffee can on the porch, and go about my day. Security gigs downtown, coffee runs, ignoring her like she was a yapping chihuahua. But Karen, she was a pit bull with a perm, and she wasn't letting go. It kicked off proper on a Tuesday. I'd just pulled in from a late-night warehouse patrol, 3 a.m., bone-tired, still in my black security jacket, when her Prius crawled by, slow as a predator. I caught her silhouette, glasses glinting under the streetlight, scribbling in her damn binder. Next morning, a new citation, violation, overnight parking, $75 fine. Overnight parking? The garage was still a no-go, boxes stacked to the ceiling, and the covenants didn't ban driveway parking, just demanded it be aesthetically pleasing. I laughed, poured my coffee, and decided it was time to mess with her. First move, compliance, Sam style. I dug into the HOA bylaws, online PDF, Charlie emailed me the link, and found section 5.4. Vehicles must be garaged or meet community standards. Vague as hell, but standards weren't defined. I hit up Reggie that afternoon, Found him tinkering with a carburetor in his garage. Hey man, I said, leaning on his workbench. What's aesthetically pleasing mean to Karen? He snorted, wiping grease off his hands. Means beige, new and boring. Your rig's a war zone. She hates it. Figured, I said. But it's a work vehicle, security, legal plates, registered. She can't tow it, right? Not without a board vote, he said, grinning. Play her game. Make it legit, but ugly. I like that. I grabbed a can of black spray paint from his stash, stenciled security patrol in big sloppy letters across the Durango's dented door. Technically compliant, but loud and proud. Added a magnetic sign I'd snagged from a gig. Torres Security Services, peeling at the edges. It looked like hell, but it screamed purpose. I parked it front and center, spotlight aimed at her house, and waited. She bid at dawn. I was sipping coffee on the porch when her flats tapped up. Tap, tap, tap. And she stopped dead, staring at the Durango like it had personally insulted her grandma. What is this? She hissed, clipboard trembling. Morning, Karen, I said, raising my mug. It's my patrol vehicle, work rig. Meets standards, check the bylaws. Ms. Baxter, she snapped, pen clicking like a machine gun. This is vandalism, spray paint, garish signage. It's an abomination. It's functional, I said, grinning. Security's my job. You want it garaged? Build me a bigger one. Her face went pink, then red, then a shade I'd call apoplectic peach. You think you're clever? She said, scribbling furiously. This isn't over. She slapped a citation on the hood, $100 unapproved modification, and stormed off. I laughed, taped it to the windshield like a badge, and got ready for my next gig. Karen wasn't playing. By Thursday, she'd upped the ante, called a tow truck. I caught it mid-act, 7 a.m., a burly guy in a jumpsuit hooking the Durango's bumper. I sprinted out in boxers and a tee, yelling, Whoa, whoa, what the hell? HOA order, he said, shrugging. Non-compliant vehicle, gotta go. Bullshit, I said, unhooking the chain myself. It's registered, insured, work vehicle. Check the plates, you tow it, I sue. He backed off, didn't want the hassle, and peeled out. Karen materialized from her Prius across the street, arms crossed. You can't stop this, Mr. Torres, she shouted. It's gone by sundown. Try me, I yelled back and called Charlie. She's towing my rig. Ideas? Ring Cam, he said, voice crackling over the phone. I've got one. Caught her sneaking around your place last night. Evidence. Send it, I said. He did, grainy footage of Karen, 2 a.m., snapping pics of the Durango with a flash, muttering about trash. I saved it, emailed the HOA board, re-tow attempt, work vehicle, legal, video attached, CC'd Karen for kicks. She didn't respond, but the citations doubled. $200 by Friday. Excessive glare, spotlight, obstructing view. Obstructing view? It was in my damn driveway. Reggie laughed over beers that night. She's losing it, man. You're her Moby Dick. Good, man, I said. Let her chase. Necessary on the warning was. Saturday, she went nuclear. Emergency HOA meeting, 6 p.m., community center. Charlie texted me the heads up. She's pushing a ban, hazardous vehicles. Your Durango's toast if she wins? I crashed it, uninvited, with Reggie and Charlie in tow. The room was packed. 40 residents, folding chairs, a pitcher of lukewarm lemonade. Karen stood at a podium, perm gleaming, binder open like a battle plan. This vehicle, she declared, holding up a photo of the Durango, spray paint and all, is a blight on Pine Hollow. It's unsafe, unsightly, and a hazard. I moved to prohibit it, effective immediately. Murmurs, nods from her Bob posse. I stood, hands in pockets. Hey, Karen, it's a patrol vehicle. Security gig. Keeps folks safe. You banning my job now? Ms. Baxter, she barked, glasses flashing. I don't care what it's for. It's trash. No permit, no precedent. Permit? Reggie cut in, standing. I parked my old truck here for years. No permit. You didn't blink. Different, she snapped. You're not a menace. Menace? I laughed. Lady, I'm the guy who'd stop a break-in at your place. Chill. The room split, half snickering, half glaring. Charlie jumped up. Motion to table this. Work vehicle. Legal use. Who's with me? Hands rose. Reggie, a few others. Karen pounded the podium. Out of order. I rule here. Not if we vote, Charlie said, cool as hell. It was tight. 18-16, motion tabled. Karen's face hit nuclear peach again, but she couldn't override. She stormed out, muttering about legal recourse. Win, right? Nope. Sunday, she sabotaged me. Slashed a tire while I was on a gig. I got home at 4 a.m., saw the flat, and found a neon note. Move it or lose it. Reggie fixed it by noon. Spare from his stash. But I was pissed. I rigged Charlie's ring cam to my porch. Caught her next move. Monday, 1 a.m., she keyed trash into the hood. Video gold. I sent it to the board, CC'd the sheriff. Tuesday, she called the tow again. Same guy, same HOA order. I showed him the cam clip, sheriff's report filed. Felony vandalism, I said. You tow, you're an accessory. He bailed, fast. Karen rolled by, saw me grinning, and peeled out. It's so worm. So break it to a watch, so. Wednesday, she went full smear. Flyers in every mailbox. Hazard alert. Dangerous vehicle at 32 Oak Ridge. Mrs. Ellis handed him out, whispering, Karen's worried about safety. I countered with my own, printed at Charlie's. Security patrol protects Pine Hollow. Support your neighbor. Reggie taped him to poles. Karen ripped him down by nightfall. Thursday, she got personal. Called my gig client, a warehouse manager, claiming I was unreliable with a junk car. Manager laughed, told me later, she's nuts. You're solid. Keep the rig. I thanked him, added a dash cam to the Durango. More evidence. By Friday, I'd racked up $500 in fines, a keyed hood, and a slashed tire, but the Durango stayed put. Reggie warned, she's saving the big one for the picnic. Saturday. Annual thing, whole neighborhood. She'll go public. Let her, I said. I've got a gig that night, perfect timing. Charlie grinned over beers. She doesn't know what's coming. Nope, I said, clinking bottles. She's about to crash and burn. Karen thought she had me cornered. Picnic was her stage, my rig her target. She didn't know I'd roll in with lights flashing, turning her tantrum into my triumph. Part 3, Saturday, September 14th, dawned bright and brutal in Pine Hollow. A perfect day for a picnic and an even better one for a reckoning. The annual HOA shindig was the neighborhood's Super Bowl, tables groaning with potato salad and hot dogs, kids chasing balloons, adults sipping lemonade under a big white tent in the community park. I'd been up since 5 a.m., prepping for a security gig downtown. Warehouse patrol, 6 p.m. to midnight, good pay, lights and siren kind of night. My Durango sat in the driveway at 32 Oak Ridge, freshly washed, by Reggie's hose, not mine. Screw Karen's visible maintenance fines. Security patrol spray-painted loud and proud. Keyed trash still etched in the hood like a battle scar. I was in my black uniform, jacket, boots, badge clipped to the chest, sipping coffee on the porch when Reggie rolled by. Picnic's at noon, he said, leaning out his truck window. Karen's got a speech plan. Word is, your rig's the star. I grinned, setting the mug down. Let her talk. I'll be there. Got a surprise for her. Lights and sirens? He asked, smirking. You know it, I said. Charlie's filming. Rigged a GoPro, he said. Front row seat. Perfect, I said. See you there. I spent the morning tuning the Durango, checked the spotlight, tested the siren, quietly in the garage, Karen couldn't pin me yet, loaded my gear. The picnic was my chance. She'd been building to this, her big public takedown, and I was ready to flip the script. I'd racked up $500 in fines, a slashed tire, a keyed hood, and a week of her bullshit. But the board hadn't banned my rig, Charlie's motion held, and the sheriff wouldn't touch it after the vandalism report. Karen thought she'd win with a crowd. She didn't know I'd bring the cavalry. What do you mean? There's an Noon hit, and Pine Hollow Park was packed. 80 residents, maybe more, sprawled across the grass. Tables lined up under the tent, red checkered cloths flapping, kids darting through with water guns. The HOA board sat at a head table, Karen front and center, perm gleaming in the sun, yellow sundress and a floral hat making her look like a pissed-off Easter egg. Her posse flanked her, bobbed hair, tight smiles, while Reggie, Charlie, and a few allies loitered near the grill, hot dogs sizzling. Mrs. Ellis handed out lemonade, whispering Karen's propaganda. The Wilsons sipped IPAs, eyeing the crowd. I wasn't there yet. I'd rolled the Durango 2 streets over, parked at Charlie's out of sight. Plan was to crash mid-speech. Karen wouldn't see me coming. Charlie texted at 12:15. She's up. Go time soon. I waited, engine idling, uniform itching in the heat. At 12:30, Karen took the mic, portable, crackling, her voice slicing through the chatter. Good afternoon, Pine Hollow, she chirped, all fake sunshine. As your president, I'm proud of our community. Pristine, orderly, a model suburb. But we've got a problem. Murmurs. Heads turned. She held up a photo. My Durango, blown up to poster size, trash keying front and center. This vehicle, she said, jabbing the pic, is a hazard. Parked at 32 Oak Ridge, it's unsightly, dangerous, and a violation of our standards. I've cited it repeatedly, but the owner, Mr. Torres, refuses to comply. Boos from her posse, nods from a few suck-ups. Reggie snorted, loud enough to draw glares. Karen plowed on. It's a junk heap, spray-painted, scratched, a blight. I propose an immediate ban. No exceptions. All in favor? Hands crept up. Her crew, Mrs. Ellis, a couple Wilsons. Charlie stood cool as ice. Hold up, he said, micless but loud. That's a work vehicle, security patrol, legal, registered. You banning a guy's job? Karen's eyes narrowed, hat flopping as she spun. Mr. Kim, sit down. It's trash. Work or not, it doesn't belong here. Trash, Reggie barked, stepping up. Keeps us safe. Better than your Prius, Karen. Laughter rippled. Half the crowd anyway. Karen's face hit that apoplectic peach shade. Miss Baxter, she screeched, mic feedback squealing. This isn't a debate, it's a hazard. I've got proof. Fines, photos, complaints. Proof, I thought, grinning from my hideout. Time to roll. I fired up the Durango, flipped the lights, red and blue strobing, hit the siren for a quick whoop whoop, and peeled toward the park. Crowd parted like the Red Sea as I roared in, parking right on the grass, 10 feet from her podium. Kids cheered, adults gawked. Karen froze mid-rant. I stepped out, boots crunching, badge glinting, and leaned on the hood. Afternoon, Karen, I said, voice calm but loud. Calling my rig trash? It's a patrol vehicle. Security gig tonight. You banning me from work? Her jaw dropped, mic trembling. You can't be here, she stammered. This is a stunt. That thing's legal, I cut in, pulling my ID, security license, state issued. Registered, insured, HOA compliant, Section 5.4, work vehicles allowed. Check it. The crowd buzzed, phones out, filming. Charlie's GoPro rolled from the grill. Karen's eyes bulged. Lies, she screamed, spittle flying. It's an eyesore. I don't care what it's for. Get it off my grass. Your grass, I said, grinning. Public park, lady, and it's staying. Gig starts in 2 hours. Want me to patrol Pine Hollow next? Laughter erupted, deep, rolling from Reggie and half the tent. A kid yelled, Cool car. Karen swung the mic like a club. This is my event. You're trespassing, security or not. Nope, Charlie said, stepping up with his phone. Board approved his lease, includes parking rights. You're out of line. She lunged at him, missed, tripped on a table leg, and the mic hit the ground with a thud. Feedback screeched. Her hat flopped off, perm a frizzy mess. You're all against me, she howled, snatching her clipboard. I'll have it towed. Sheriff's coming. Go for it, I said, crossing my arms. Sheriff's got my vandalism report. Your key job on the hood. Felony, Karen. Her face went white, then red again. Vandalism? You framed me. Nah, Reggie said, holding up his phone. Caught it on cam, 1 a.m., Monday. You plus a key. Want the crowd to see? He hit play, grainy footage, Karen's Prius, her scrawling trash under my spotlight. Gasps, laughs, no way from the back. She shrieked, that's doctored, and charged the phone. Reggie dodged. She hit a lemonade pitcher instead. It crashed, soaking her sundress, and the crowd lost it, roaring, filming, kids pointing. Enough, I said, stepping forward. You want to talk hazards? Check this. I nodded at Charlie. He flipped his screen to a drone shot. Karen's backyard. A rusty shed, no permit, 6 years old. Section 8.3, no unapproved structures. Who's breaking rules now? The tent exploded, shouts, cheers. Hypocrite! From a Wilson. Karen dropped her clipboard, pages scattering. That's fake! She screamed, voice cracking. You're ruining me! Nah, I said, light still flashing behind me. You did that yourself. Shibrinde for one, for habanetidin. She snapped, grabbed a hot dog tray, flung it, missed me, hit Mrs. Ellis, who yelped as mustard splattered her blouse. Out! Karen roared, kicking a chair. You're all complicit. She swung at the Durango with her clipboard, dent, no damage, and bolted for the podium, tripping over a balloon string. Faceplant, sundress up, perm in the dirt. The crowd, 80 strong, roared. Phones caught every angle. Reggie climbed a table, mic in hand. Motion to remove Karen Baxter as president. Now! All in favor. Hands shot up, dozens fast. Ayes boomed. Her posse squeaked, nay! But they were drowned out. Charlie grinned. Motion carries. Karen's out. She staggered up, soaked, hatless, screaming, You can't! I built this! She snatched her binder, ran for her Prius, slipped again, keys flying, and peeled out, leaving skid marks in silence. Then applause, whistles. A kid tossed a water balloon, missed, hit a table. More laughs. I leaned on the Durango, lights off now, grinning. Guess that's that, I said to Reggie. Hell yeah, he said, slapping my back. You're a legend. Charlie checked his GoPro. Live streaming, 10K views already. Viral, man. HOA Karen versus Security Sam. I laughed, waved at the crowd. Some clapped, some toasted me with lemonade. Gig time loomed, but I stayed till dusk. Hot dogs, beers, kids begging to sit in the rig. Karen's reign was ash, and Pine Hollow was mine. Part 4. The sun was dipping below the pines when the last echoes of Karen Baxter's picnic meltdown faded from Pine Hollow Park. My Durango sat on the grass, lights off now. Security patrol stenciled loud and proud, a dented, keyed-up monument to the chaos I'd just unleashed. The crowd, 80-odd neighbors, milled around, some still filming, others cracking beers from a cooler Reggie had hauled out. The tent was a mess, spilled lemonade, scattered hot dog trays, Karen's clipboard pages fluttering like confetti. I leaned on the rig, uniform sweaty, grinning like a fool as Charlie checked his GoPro stats. 50K views in an hour, climbing fast. Reggie slapped my back, handing me a Coors. You broke her, man, he said. She's done. Hope so, I said, cracking the can. I've got a gig in 30, can't babysit her tantrum all night. Kids swarmed the Durango, begging to flip the siren. I let 'em once, a quick whoop whoop that sent 'em squealing. Mrs. Ellis shuffled over, mustard-stained blouse and all, muttering, Well, I suppose it's useful. Closest I'd get to an apology. The Wilsons toasted me with IPAs, one yelling, Keep that beast, screw the HOA. Laughter rolled, and I knew I'd won more than a parking spot. But Karen wasn't out cold, not yet. She'd peeled off in her Prius, sundress soaked, perm a wreck. But I'd been a cop long enough to know a cornered perp doesn't quit easy. I figured she'd lick her wounds, plot a comeback. I was half right. Deborah one. Monday morning I woke to quiet. No citations on my door, no Prius stalking the street. The Durango sat untouched, tire fixed, Reggie's spare, key marks gleaming in the sun. I brewed coffee, checked my phone. Charlie's video, HOA Karen versus Security Sam, hit 500K views overnight. Local news picked it up. Suburban standoff, patrol car prevails. And my gig boss texted, Saw the clip. You're a badass. Extra shift if you want. I smirked, sipped my brew, and stepped outside. Reggie jogged over, grin wide. Board met last night, he said. Karen's out. Official. Charlie's interim prez till the election. No shit, I said, laughing. That was fast. Not fast enough, he said. They're auditing her too. Fines, shed, the works. She's screwed. Shed? I asked. Yep, he said, nodding across the street. Karen's house was dark, curtains drawn, but a pickup rolled up. Work crew, sledgehammers ready. No permit, 6 years. Board fined her $1,500. Demos today. I whistled. Karma's quick. Damn right, he said. She's been yelling at him since dawn. Lawyer this, lawsuit that. Sure enough, 9 a.m., Karen burst out. bathrobe, no perm, just a soggy mess of hair, screaming at the crew. "This is theft! I'll sue you all!" The lead guy shrugged, kept swinging. The shed crumpled like tinfoil. A deputy, same kid from my tire call, rolled up, calmed her down, and the demo finished by noon. She stood there shaking as they hauled the wreckage off, billing her double, $3,000 total. Reggie filmed it, sent me the clip. Round 2, KO. A Hurricane of Warners. Tuesday, the HOA email blast hit. Leadership transition and policy update. Charlie's name topped it, announcing Karen's removal, my rig's approval, work vehicles exempt, 5.4, and her shed violation. Buried in the fine print, pending review of financial discrepancies, K. Baxter tenure. Reggie's audit hunch was gold. She'd skimmed dues for years, funding her Prius wax jobs and that damn clipboard. Total? $5K, restitution ordered. Karen fought back. Wednesday, a handwritten note in my mailbox, no stamp. "You'll regret this, Torres. I'm not done." I showed it to Charlie, who laughed. "Frame it," he said. "She's got nothing left." I did, nailed it next to the coffee can of crumpled citations. Thursday, the fines landed. Her own binder turned on her. Unpermitted shed, 500. Unreported paint trim, 200. Excessive signage from a garage sale in 2000. $4,800 total with the demo hit. Friday, a for sale sign sprouted in her yard. Beige box, pristine shutters, $30K below market. Word was she'd burned her savings on lawyer threats that flopped. Saturday, she was gone. Moving van, Prius, no goodbye. New owners rolled in Monday, waved at the Durango, asked if I'd patrol their block. I said sure. Pine Hollow shifted fast. Charlie rewrote the bylaws, ditched the aesthetic crap, loosened parking rules, added a work vehicle clause in my honor. The Durango became a fixture, neighbors stopped, chatted, kids drew it in chalk on the sidewalk. My gigs spiked. Warehouse boss gave me weekends. A bar downtown hired me for Fridays. Even the Wilsons booked me for a house party. Torres Security Services went legit. Business cards, Charlie's design, call the trash man tagline. I laughed, ordered 500. Sunday, I threw a victory grill out. Reggie on hot dogs, Charlie on tunes. 30 folks crammed in my yard. The Durango parked proud, lights off, kids climbing the bumper. Mrs. Ellis brought cookies, actual peace offering, and the Wilsons toasted me again. I climbed on a cooler, beer raised. "To freedom," I said, "and keeping the streets safe, trash and all." Cheers. Loud, messy, hours. Charlie hugged me. Reggie whooped. The kids begged for siren blasts. I obliged twice. Across the street, Karen's old place glowed with new life. No beige, just chaos. She tried to move me, break me, but I'd turned her game into a win. For me, for Pine Hollow, for the Durango, for the wine.